The UNC Pembroke football team fell on the road at Kentucky Wesleyan last week. Quarterback Patrick O'Brien threw for 317 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough in a 39-31 defeat. The Braves return home this Saturday to face Limestone. UNCP Wrestling hosted the 35th annual Pembroke Classic last week, and it was a big day for the Braves. Hayden Fry, Blaze Shade, and Brock Walker all won their respective weight classes, while 10 other Braves registered top 6 finishes in their weight classes. The men's basketball team played an exhibition game at Wake Forest and held a 1-point lead at halftime, but the Demon Deacons proved to be too much as the Braves dropped the exhibition game 86-64. In volleyball action, the Braves won a 5-set thriller against Coker in non-conference play on Lumbee Guarantee Bank Court before traveling to Georgia for a pair of PBC matches that ended in defeats. And the cross-country team wrapped up its season at the Southeast Regional Championships at Wingate. The women's team finished 11th while the men took home 4th, which is the best finish at the regional championships in NCAA program history. Senior Tim Sigmund led the way with the 9th place individual finish in the 10K race. The Black and Gold Report starts now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report presented by Pepsi, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Jenna Davison, and today on the show we're going to be catching up with head football coach Shane Richardson and later talking to head cross-country coach Dr. Peter Ormsby. But first, like usual, we're joined by Coach Richardson. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back.
Well, last week the Braves made the long 10-hour trek to Owensboro, Kentucky and came away with their 4th road loss of the season, this time a 39-31 setback at the hands of Kentucky Wesleyan. This was a game that you led at the half and had the chance to tie at the end. But what are your takeaways from this game?
I think, looking at the season, I mean, we could not win a road game. An overnight trip, a long bus trip, and, that seems to be a little bit of a theme. And, that was disappointing that we couldn't come away with playing better than what we did. I don't know that we came out of the gate as hungry as we needed to. I thought there were a lot of good individual performances. I thought there were some flashes where we really showed some life and showed some fight. I thought Kentucky Wesleyan came out very much ready for us, and I think it was tough for our guys to match that, and we just kind of started to come back a little bit too late. And so, with the position that we were in going into this game, I expected a little bit more out of our guys, and, disappointed obviously with the outcome of this one, but I think overall, the younger guys that are going to be coming back, I think it's a great challenge for our program and our team to know what it's going to take for us to kind of reverse that road trip mentality and to get it right.
Well, the Panthers racked up more than 600 yards of total offense against Code Black, including 510 yards through the air. UNCP is pretty beat up on defense right now, especially in the secondary. Was the defensive effort in this game more of a personnel issue or an execution issue, or maybe a bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. As you said, our secondary, we've had 3 ACLs and an MCL guy that's out right now also. And so 4 guys in the secondary that are taken out of the mix right there in the 2 deep really changes things for us. So we've got to be able to maneuver guys around and try to piece it together, and that hasn't been easy. And, the passing game took its toll on our defense on Saturday. I thought we could have done a little better job of sprinting to the ball and just playing some fundamental defense as far as getting off blocks and tackling better and just knowing our assignments better. But all in all, you've got to be able to put everything together no matter what personnel is on the field, and you've got to still be able to stick to your identity, and that's playing hard, playing fast, playing together. I don't know if that was up to par either, and so it was a combination of both, and we're just in a very tough time right now with our defense and just trying to really get through this last week here to hopefully be able to come back strong with a performance this Saturday.
Well, the Braves were able to register more than 400 yards of offense on their own, led by 317 yards passing by Patrick O'Brien. You're able to move the ball against the Panthers to get yards in bunches. What were your thoughts on the offensive effort from your team, and what were some of the positives you took away from this one on the offensive side of the ball?
Offense was good. I thought they were very solid, and I thought there were some times, some moments where the offense maybe could have done a little bit more to sustain some drives and put some more points on the board. There were a couple critical opportunities that maybe we missed on, but all in all, I felt really positive going in at halftime, and I felt like we needed to stop them a little bit more to give our offense a little better chance to get on the field and to do what they needed to do to score. But in the second half, I really liked our offensive fight in the fourth quarter, and I thought they gave us an opportunity to win the game, and offensively I felt like we were in control of some of those drives, and so that was really good to see. I felt like there was a lot of confidence on the offensive side of the ball, and that was good to see from that young group.
Well, Saturday's defeat was the third straight loss by the Braves, and all 4 losses this season have come away from Pembroke. Are you seeing something different from your team on the road, and is it something that can be corrected moving forward?
It's something that our coaching staff has looked at very specifically, and we've done everything possible to put them in great situations to perform at their best. And I think it's a concept where the young guys have got to understand how important it is to take the comfort zone that they're used to at home and to assimilate that on the road. And when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, we've got a 4-quarter game to go out there and to be at our best, and we've got to make sure that the mentality is on point with that. And so I think the challenge to our team in the future, and you know, I think it's a very simple challenge, is we've got to be able to go on the road and be able to play at our best and be able to win games on the road to be a great team. And I think we can do that. I think coming out of this past Saturday, we didn't do that, and that's going to strike a chord with a lot of our guys.
All right, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to be continuing our conversation with head football coach Shane Richardson, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. We're still joined by head football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, we have some clips from the game. Do you mind walking us through them?
Yeah, let's take a look. So here we are on defense here, and we were put in some situations where we got them in some long yardage, and a lot of times during the day we did not come on the top end of that, but here we had a corner blitz, and our safety Tyree Callaway was able to match up with the guy down the sideline, and one of the few plays that we got pressure. Right here offensively, a great throw and catch here. Really a great job by John Rich going up and getting it, and he's been a senior leader of ours, and he had a great competitive spirit to him on Saturday and took a great leadership role in that. Mike Lawrence at the cornerback position came up and made a good play on the perimeter here. They did challenge our corners a lot, and that was good to see that Mike came up and was able to answer the bell there. On the offensive side, running the ball, Rontonio Stanley had another good day for us, very solid. Matt Davis with a field goal here has been very consistent, and definitely was a good field goal at that time in the game, and I believe put us up at the lead there. Here we're going down the sideline to BJ Bunn, and BJ's not overly fast, but he certainly has a way to find the ball. His hands are amazing, and he's just a competitor, and so he finds a way to come down with the ball. Here's our hit squad coming down on our kickoff unit, and I thought those guys did a really good job all day long, and Matt put a lot of really good placed balls on the kickoff, and that always helps to be able to pin them deep. Defensively, again, we're couple of the few highlights of the day, but we do get a sack here, and we were able to put some pressure on them. That always helps in the passing game, and honestly, we didn't get a whole lot of pressure all day long, and that was part of the problem why the quarterback had a lot of time to throw the ball, and they threw for over 500 yards, and when he's back there just kind of, you know, able to see the defense and seeing what's open and what's developing, and we don't get guys in his face and guys to be able to put a lot of pressure on him, it certainly is a disadvantage for our defense. And so I think we faced that a little bit, but the sack there that did help on that play.
Yes. Well, other than quarterback, you did get some pretty impressive performances from other individuals as well, including 133 receiving yards from junior B.J. Bunn and 98 rushing yards from junior Rontonio Stanley. You've got some pretty consistent efforts from those two guys over the last 3 to 4 games. How important is it to the success of your team that those guys go out and give you 100 yards each game?
I think it's very important. Those two are considered playmakers on offense, and we look to them for that. And they've had a lot of experience over their careers here, and so on offense, we look to them as leaders, and maybe not necessarily as a vocal leader, but more of a leader of getting us the production that we need on the field. And they've done a fantastic job of that. They're both competitors. They both want to win. They both care about what we're doing. And it's great to be able to see the consistency that they've turned in their performances.
Well, let's dive right in and breaking this game down. Kentucky Wesleyan gets on the board first midway through the first quarter on a 45-yard touchdown pass, the first of 8 plays by the Panthers that went for 20 or more yards in this game. Were you concerned about Kentucky Wesleyan's potential for big plays going in, especially since they were coming off a 69-point performance last week?
Yeah, I think we had seen out of their offense that they were potentially very explosive, and they've got some really good skill guys at the receiver position. They had a receiver that was as good as we've seen all year long, and we knew that going in, and the quarterback did a nice job of delivering the ball. It was one of those games also where, after going back and reviewing the film, the passes and the completions and just the connection that the quarterback had with the receivers, they made plays, and defensively it seemed like maybe in the past where we could get a batted ball knocked down, we could get a guy in his face as far as with quarterback pressure, get some incompletions or some odd throws. It just didn't seem like we got any of those breaks, and they did a great job in their passing game, and we had a tough time defending it.
All right, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we're going to continue talking to Coach Richardson, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. We're still joined by Coach Richardson. Coach, UNCP was able to recover from the early deficit and racked up more than 260 yards in the first half to take the 17-16 lead into the locker rooms. What adjustments did you make in the locker room?
Very rarely do we make a lot of wholesale adjustments or throw things out the window and go to something different. The challenge is that we needed to play just a little bit more consistent and make sure that we had one half of football where we tried to get on top and stay on top. Defensively, we did try to just adjust a few things coverage-wise to give our corner some help. But all in all, I felt like we just needed to be a little more consistent with everything that we were doing from an offense, defense, and kicking game perspective.
Well, the Panthers came out at halftime and scored twice in the third quarter, once on a 59-yard scoring drive and the second following a botched punt attempt. What were you saying to your guys on the sideline to keep them in this game?
Well, I went into the game thinking that we've been in some very adverse, tough situations all year long. And Murphy has shown up, and we were used to that. And I tried to continue to tell myself that, as the leader on the sideline, as the head coach, I wanted to make sure I portrayed great confidence and a very hopeful, positive attitude that we could still win the game. And I wholeheartedly believe that we could win that game. And so I really tried to exude that into our players, and I think that they latched on to that. And so I think just me setting a good example on the sideline for them to follow was worth as much as anything.
Well, you traded touchdowns with the Panthers in the fourth quarter, but climbed to within 5 points on a short touchdown run by Patrick O'Brien with 3 minutes left to play, and had the chance on the final possession to tie things up and send the game into overtime. Where did you gauge the confidence level of your team heading into that final possession?
I think we had a lot of guys who wanted to win and really believed we were going to win the game. I think we really did think we had the ability to take it down and to, finish the game the right way and to win it. It would have been nice to be able to buy a defensive possession where we could have stopped them just one more time. And, we challenged our guys, and I think they all realized the importance of each of their jobs. And I think this was a little bit of a learning lesson in the whole thing was everyone's got to execute at every given moment, and we got to be able to do it from first quarter to 4 quarters. We can't rely on the last drive to try to help win the game.
Well, UNCP will return home for the final game of the season on Saturday against Limestone, a 2 p.m. kickoff at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. What are 2 or 3 things that you'd like to see from your team on Saturday, whether or not you've seen it already this season?
I think I want to see them finish extremely well. And well, I guess what I mean by that is I want to see them go out and just play for the love of the game and to really play with some passion and some competitive spirit and to make sure that we are really going out the right way to build some momentum. And we've had some ups and downs this year, and I think this is a game that we can really put forth great effort, great enthusiasm, finish the right way at home, and make sure that we finish with a winning record. And so I think finishing is really a theme that we'll talk about. Want to see the seniors go out the right way. They deserve that. And I think this year in general, just with the turnaround from the record standpoint, I want our program to make sure that we're able to leave this season and take some momentum into the off season so we can build on it. And so looking forward to just a great competitive, enthusiastic performance out of our team this Saturday.
With about a minute left, Saturday's game will also mark the final collegiate game for 11 seniors on this year's team. I wanted to give you the chance to talk about that group and the legacy they'll leave behind in Pembroke.
Yep, I think, as I kind of mentioned, I think they're a part of the transition of the coaching staff and what took place last year. They were able to go through really the worst record in UNCP football history and now a really good turnaround, to where we are right now. And providing we can finish it out the right way, I think that they're a big part of just the focus that we had in the offseason, the determination that we had, and we have 3 senior captains, John Rich, Mike Keck, and Kendall Jacobs. They've all been at the forefront of that. And so really proud of all those guys and all the other seniors that'll go out on Saturday. And they've had valuable contributions to our program, and they've gotten us to where we are now. And I feel like this is just another step in the process of trying to fulfill our vision of being one of the premier programs in Division II.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you for having me, Jenna.
And we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we're going to talk cross country with head coach Dr. Peter Ormsby. So stay tuned.